Hi, thank you for joining me in this episode. Today is our second episode of Women in Science. We have the power to change the world. My name is Yifan Gao, a PhD candidate from Civil and Environmental Engineering Department at University of California at Los Angeles. I'm also the International Student Event Officer at GradSWE UCLA. GradSWE stands for the Graduate Student Committee of Society of Women Engineers, and we are at UCLA section. We are going to host a series of interviews to female scientists, and we hope we can encourage more women to join the community of STEM. Our guest today is Tiffany Tang, a PhD student from Chemistry and Biochemistry Department at Georgia Institute of Technology. Tiffany is from GradSWE at Georgia Tech. GradSWE focuses on the fundamental chemistry of the biotransformation of lipids by enzymes. They also try to elucidate the mechanism of small molecules interaction with proteins such as cytochrome P450s. Feel free to check GradSWE website if you are interested in their work. Hi, Tiffany. Long time no see. Hi, it's my pleasure to have you in my YouTube channel. And it's really our honor to invite you as a PhD student representative and to give us advice and tell us about your story. So, yeah.
Absolutely. It's also my pleasure to be in your YouTube channel. It's actually my first time here, so I'm really nervous, but also looking forward to today's episode.
Yeah, thank you. And to get started, would you like to introduce yourself and also your research?
Yeah. So my name is Tiffany Tang. I'm a first year PhD student in chemistry and biochemistry at Georgia Institute of Technology. I'm currently a grad student at Dr. Aditi Das's lab. Um, we're a new lab at GT, but the lab has been focusing a lot on looking at biochemical mechanisms of cytochrome P450s. We're also really interested in looking at lipid neurotransmitters and also its interaction with various biological enzymes like cyclooxygenase or lipoxygenase. So currently, I'm working on purifying and characterizing of the three SIPs. These are basically orphan SIPs, so these are the SIP2S1, 2R1, and 2W1, but it's still a work in progress. But I'm really excited to see what the results bring us to.
Yeah, thank you for the introduction. And so my major is environmental engineering, and I haven't tried any major, but I'm also studying. Um, my research is also about the biochemistry, so I'm studying enzyme. I wanted to ask you a question, like, what made you to choose the biochemistry major at the first time?
So very interestingly, I was actually accepted into my undergraduate institution as a neuroscience major. But then I switched to biochem in my second year, knowing that it has wide application in different industries. For me, I'm really interested in hoping to go into pharmaceutical industry upon graduation. So I thought biochemistry will really give me the skill set to work on different aspects of drug delivery, drug design, or even clinical trials. So I think biochemistry is a pretty solid choice for anyone who's interested in medical or pharmaceutical. Yeah.
Yeah, so your like long time ago is like a pharmaceutical industry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, also I noticed like that during your undergrads, you you have like really diverse, really amazing experience. So you have been involved in summer research intern in Taiwan, and also you are in the exchange program in National University of Singapore. Like to share with us your secret of how to manage so many adventures. I think so for me, I never had any exchange program experience during my undergrad. So I
Mhm.
feel like it's really like it would be really cool to have such amazing background. So I wanted to know, like, do you have any experience to share with us? Like, how could you do that many things during undergrads?
I think this is partially due to I guess, what's been happening during my undergraduate career. So, in chronological order, I did my exchange program at NUS in Singapore back in my second year. And it was actually a very, I consider it as a very beautiful accident. I didn't really know what I wanted to do with a degree in, I guess, neuroscience at that time because I haven't like switched. So I thought maybe it's time to try something new. And then I was kind of telling myself that at that point, I didn't really know if I should go into academia or in industry. So I was very lost, basically.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to give up on STEM. I was like, I want to stay in this field, but I really also want to know what's out there waiting for me. So then UCLA provided this really good platform for students to go literally anywhere in the world. And I just chose Singapore because of its diverse cultural background, the opportunities out there, and also it's
Yeah.
really close to home, like Taiwan for me.
Yeah.
Um, and then another instance is why I was able to do a summer intern at Taiwan. It was actually because of COVID. I had to go home because everything went online. And again, I was thinking about, okay, so this is again, I'm feeling really lost. I was like, okay, so what can I do to boost up my experience? And luckily, I found these opportunities at home. And really, both of these experience, because I work in two different labs in
Yeah.
Singapore and in Taiwan, and both of these lab experience basically give me like the common feeling that I like to be in a lab, regardless of the research that I do. So in a way, they really motivate me to chose the path to go on graduate studies. So I think I was really lucky in that way to be able to have this type of experience, but really just to embrace the changes that's
Yeah.
coming at you because you never know what kind of surprise will be along the way.
So in the NUS, you were now doing the biochemistry research. You were doing the neuroscience.
Okay, very, I guess, like, I wouldn't say ironically, but back in NUS, I was actually in a forensic science lab.
Oh,
Which sound,
yeah.
yeah, it's very different from, I guess, my research right now and my other research experience. But it's actually the first like official lab experience I had, which is working with Drosophila and looking at basically just the degradation of materials like
Oh,
meat.
yeah. Meat.
And
Oh, that's
yeah,
yeah.
which was, it's kind of like it opened a new door for me because I think at that point I didn't know that science was able to have its application like in crime
Yeah.
scene or
Yeah.
solving a mystery
A
basically.
mystery.
So
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
that was a really cool experience for me, and then I think it was because of that that really convinced me that, okay, being a biochemistry student, I can literally do anything, like, I can go
Like
into
lab
all this.
work and everything. Yeah, I think
Exactly.
biochemistry is pretty lab heavy. It's like
Yeah,
basically you spend many hours in the lab. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I didn't know you you were in like a totally different field during the exchange program. I thought that's the that's the one that gave you the biochemistry like background or like interest. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. Yeah. And also it's like new. I know another side of you, like you were actually work for the crime scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. So after your undergrads, you chose to pursue the master program and also the PhD. So what
Mhm.
made you to make that decision that you want to be a graduate student after you graduate from as an undergrad? Like why
So
you make
I
that big
mhm.
decision? Yeah.
I would say there's two reasons that prompted me. So, like, realistically, I chose to go to grad school because I know my ultimate goal of going into the pharmaceutical industry would, in some way, require a tertiary degree.
Mm,
And basically, I was like, why not do it later if I can do it now? Right? Like,
yeah.
I have the time and I have the passion for science. So, I
Yeah.
think this is the right time. And also, um, it, when I applied for grad school, I think COVID was starting to like
Yeah.
fade. I mean, it's still here, but it's getting better. So I really miss the in-person school life. So I was like, maybe going to grad school is not a bad choice. Like I can go
Yeah.
back to campus doing research in person. is really exciting. But another part would really just be how I just enjoy being in the lab environment. And I thought about becoming an RA. I thought about doing a master, but I think regardless, going to grad school is kind of like the common of all these paths. So I just
Yeah,
thought that if grad school is a requirement for something that I want to do,
yeah,
I just want to start early on that and just
yeah. That
yeah,
yeah. I totally agree with that. Like, if you wanna actually, yeah, like you have already make your decision to join, whether it's pharmaceutical or academia, we don't know. So, like being a PhD student is definitely the right choice. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. That's pretty cool. Yeah, so you made so many big decisions. So it's for our organization because we are GradSWE, Graduate Student Society of Women Engineers at UCLA. So this question is for my organization is as a female scientist, like
Mhm.
what challenges have you met in the way that you made these big decisions, whether it's graduate school, exchange program, or chose your major?
Mhm. Um, I would say I wouldn't say big challenges, but I
Yeah,
did face a lot of like critiques when I told
yeah,
people that I want to go to grad school. So I grew up in Taiwan, which is a pretty like it's an Asian society, and so my parents are totally like okay with me going to grad school, but I do have some family friends or relatives. They have a more like conservative mindsets. So I did receive some comments. They're just like, Tiffany, like, why are you spending like 5 more years or even more than 5 years
yeah,
in grad school when you're really at the age of like thinking about marriage, right?
yeah.
They will ask me this and they'll just be like, like as a woman or as a female, like you need to really be fixating on finding a good husband, building a
Yeah,
good family, and that is supposed to be the most important thing of your life.
yeah, I
But
relate to that. Yeah,
right? Um,
yeah,
for me, I'm just kind of like, well, why can't I do both? Like, there's no set rule saying that I have to get married at this age or
yeah,
I
that's
have to
true.
get married first before I go to grad school. So I think those critiques will always kind of be there.
Yeah, yeah,
But you just kind of have to pull through and convince
yeah,
yourself that you're making the right decision.
yeah. You have to like confirm, like in your heart, that you're doing the right choice, not
Yeah.
following like most of the people's would make that decision, like actually build up a family or so, but you chose to actually build up your career. So it's pretty cool as a female
Yeah.
scientist. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I believe you have your role model. Right. So do you have any female role model that you look up to as you were pursuing your career?
I would say there are plenty of people
Yeah.
that I look up to. My current PI, Dr. Aditi Das, is definitely one of them. She's
Yeah.
the kind of female scientist who manage research and family at the same time, which is amazing. Her time management is just amazing. But I would say if I look back to how I grew up, I definitely say the biggest role model I have is my grandma.
Hmm.
Um, she's pretty old right now, but she used to be a teacher and also a principal. And what it's really inspiring to me is that she didn't really give up on her career in education, even after she gave birth to three children. And even after many people on her side of the family is telling her to just stay home and be a stay home mom, she didn't really give up on that. And I think considering the situation and basically the society, which is like
Yeah.
what, 40 years ago
Yeah.
or 50 years, like it's definitely more challenging than what we're facing right now. And so I guess she was also one of the few people in my family who actually told me that it's okay if I just want to build a career right now because that's what she did when she was young. So I think she's been quite an inspiration to me along the way.
Yeah. So my grandma is also, she didn't give up her career after gave birth to like two children. And also she's also a teacher in high school, but not principal. But also she gave me like a lot of like support me to pursue the graduate student, like the graduate school, because also she sort of like forced my mom to pursue the graduate school because my mom wanna be like a professor, and even at that time, PhD it was not a requirement. But she told my mom, if you wanna be, you wanted to like shine in your career, you have to have like a better degree. You have to pursue your PhD.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
So we all have like a great grandma.
Exactly.
So, my last question. Yeah, do you have any advice that you offer to women who are considering pursuing a STEM related field like biochemistry or other? Yeah.
Um, I guess my biggest advice would be don't restrict yourself based
Yeah.
on what people say to you. This can be applied to many, many aspects. So I guess the conservative stereotype that we just talked about is one of them. But there will be different stereotypes that women face in STEM field. Like one of them can definitely be if you're a woman, you can't do engineering, or if you're a woman, your math is probably poorer than a guy.
Wow.
These type of stereotypes may not come to you directly, but they're there, and somehow you will catch them, or just you'll get influenced by them. And I think it's important that as a female scientist or a student researcher to always have a clear mind, knowing that these stereotypes and these critiques will always be there, but you just have to know how to, I guess, separate that from what you really want to do. I
Yeah.
definitely think pursuing a graduate degree is like a marathon. It takes years to basically earn a degree and respect from the field. And I guess while doing so, we'll be attending conferences, trying to publish papers, or even attending meetings. And
Yeah.
in these scenarios, somehow these critiques will come at us. And I think it's important to just keep in mind that you know the value of your work, and
Yeah.
no one have the rights to say that you shouldn't be proud of your work. Yeah.
I so you posted a really cool picture in the WeChat. It was like being a PhD student. There's like a lot of challenges. Like you did a lot of lab work, but it's like finally something is not good. So I think, yeah. So I all the just for all the audience here, like being a PhD student, you have to face a lot of like failures and also challenges, but just don't be like afraid of all of these stuff, and be brave, right? Yeah.
Yeah, there's a reason why you're in grad school. And
Yeah.
if the people who admit you and accept you believe you can, you should definitely believe in yourself.
Yes. Okay, believe in
Yeah.
yourself. That will be the theme of today's interview. Yeah, thank you so
Yeah.
much. Yeah, thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Yeah.
Thank you for joining me for today's episode of Women in Science. We have the power to change the world. Please hit the subscribe button and follow us to hear more stories from female scientists.